and dance all on my own. All my friends went home, and I don't want to waste this song. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I am coming at you today with a well, a little bit of a stream with Bleaves. Are VeVe and OMI DEFX DEVVE FIAS still good investments? Got a buddy of mine. Yes, spoilers out the yin yang on my last video, not right now, for the Mario movie. Everyone say hello to Dashi and Yoshi. Hello, Dashi and Yoshi. We love you guys. There's two Yoshis over there. Anyway, we got a little bit to go over here. My phone is not doing a thing. Sorry, I getting my shipping order over here. I had, I guess what I'll talk about first is my most recent purchase of a secure Sparrow. A secure Sparrow is a VFriends thing. Let me go in and give y'all my, let me show y'all my VFriends wallet, where I have a, hey, yes, I have, where's my wallets? And I go to my collections, it's logging me in. Give me 1 second, yeah. Shout out to my collection, VeVe Series 2, my secure Sparrow that I just purchased. Shout out to Brent Trades and Gary Vaynerchuk for going on and just talking about this all the time. The VeFriends Series 1 is gonna be insane. Yeah, it's like it's 1.5 ETH, you know, like per. So it's like $3,000 per collectible. There's a lot of them. I think there's 10,255 of those. So that's you know, I feel like that's a lot. Granted, this is a bear market, and it's going to be, I think the floor price is going to double and triple just as time goes on, regardless of a bear market or a bull market. Like, Gary's just going to keep building. He's just going to keep getting more people. It's going to be a lot easier for people to buy. Yeah, like all you have to do is sign up for VFriends. The VFriends gives you a wallet. You go on OpenSea and then you connect your wallet from VFriends. It's pretty much like VeVe and Stacker. Like, when you sign up for VeVe, you get a VeVe Collectibles wallet. Sign up for VFriends, you get that wallet as well. You just kind of connect your V wallet to OpenSea, same way that you would connect your VeVe to Stacker. And as long as you have funds in your VFriends wallet, you know, you're good. I feel like buying NFTs was much more complicated back in 2021, but as of right now, pretty good, pretty easy. Hold on, let me, big protein shake over here. I had a beer last night and a cookie today. I gotta stop this shit. I mean, I'm still in the caloric deficit. I did not want to weigh myself at the gym today because there was a big naked dude on that scale. I was like, I'm just gonna, I didn't want to wait. I was like, I'm gonna go and I'll weigh myself tomorrow. So I'll let y'all know how that's going. Anyway, with VFriends in general, I think the floor price at 1.5 ETH is going to go up over time, regardless of what the market does. Obviously, in a bull market, now I don't know where these things should be priced. I don't know how much he's making on them. I mean, he's making a lot of these. Like, he's making a lot on the whatnot sale. There's stuff like, so VFriends Series 1, cool. Obviously it sold out. He made a bunch on that back in the day. And then I don't think the royalties are enforced anymore. But on VFriends Series 2, he was able to generate a little bit more revenue with that. And then from that, just be like, okay, now here's a Funko Pop. Now here's stickers. Now here's, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I wish this was some of the things that VeVe would do, because VeVe has all of these amazing licenses, like, and just the fact that you have a glowing glowworm. I think this is a rare because it's got like the beige orange background. Like the white ones are like the common versions. They're like the not as good ones, but you know, these ones are like a next rarity tier above. Um, maybe just the sufficient shrimp is just a better character, than the glowing glowworm. And that's the thing. So like these are like OG art. Like the art I think was by Gary. I think he drew a lot of these. Um, and yeah, they're cool. They're cool little guys. But if you search VFriends, okay, hold on. VFriends Series 2, they're a lot more artful and color. Like, I don't know what this dude is. It's Suffocate Hate. Are they like murdering this dude? Because they're suffocating him. Like there's skulls in the background on this one. Man, there's bodies. I think they're creating another body. Anyway, these ones are a little bit more. They're nicer to look at. I don't know what a protective piranha is, but it's got nice little roses over there. Again, I don't know what a lot of these are. A determined dolphin. I don't. Is this all underwater? Anyway, it's wild that the VFriends Series 1, the floor for all of these things that they're popular within Gary's fan club, within the people that follow him, like myself. But outside of that, it's probably going to find does any of our parents know what a glowing glowworm is, or a secured sparrow, or an adventurous astronaut? No. Everyone knows who Mickey Mouse is. So the fact that a glowing glowworm from VFriends Series 1 is 3 times the amount of a partner statue is wild to me. Granted, Gary's just a better marketer. He just this is what he does. He's constantly creating content on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot, and Facebook and Reels and all of this. Just he specializes at getting people's attention. He's very good at it. And I think part of the reason is that he says stuff that a lot of young men really want to follow. Hey, work hard. Hey, move out of your parents' place. Like, yeah, you can blame your parents for stuff, but don't take their money. I think he says a lot of things that a lot of young men just don't hear, and women too, I guess. But I'm just speaking from the man's perspective. And I think if David and Dan were to kind of do the same, like they're all cut from the same cloth. They're all freaking workhorses. They're all very good at what they do. It's just Gary's a lot more vocal about it, and David is not. I wish that weren't the case. I wish it were different, and David was like that. But I'll part of the reason I bought a VFriends is because I never. And again, it's a Series 2. Like, I didn't want to spend $3,000 on like a Series 1. Where, granted, things are pretty low right now, and yeah, they could always go lower. It's crypto and NFTs. You never know what's going to happen. But over time, I never have to do any advertising for a secured sparrow. But Gary will. Gary's going to talk about that all the time. And it's partially why I love VeVe too, is because let's say for Strange Tales number 110, first appearance of Doctor Strange. I'm never going to have to advertise that comic book. I'm never going to have to advertise like Doctor Strange. Like, a lot of people know who he is already. And even Marvel, Disney, like they're going to go on and advertise that character and that comic for me. Like, I'll never have to do it. So this is why a lot of times people go in and say, yeah, I'm just going to be an investor. I'm going to be a VC. I'm not going to buy any of these. I'm not going to start my own company. I'm just going to invest in others, because a lot of the other, it's really hard to do that, to be a business owner and survive in this market where everyone's coming for you. Everyone's trying to take your lunch. But Gary's been at this for a long time. He's very good at it. So I might get more of that secured sparrow. I don't know. Apparently there's how many? There's 55,000 of these freaking things. So 55,000. Was there 250, 251? So there's 219 of those secured Sparrow guys. And let's check Gary's Instagram. Let's check. He's got 11 million followers on Instagram. A lot. Okay, what about? There's probably a couple million on Twitter, right? 3 million on Twitter. So, yeah, this is. I followed Gary for a long time. Vayner Sports, Vayner Media, all this, but NFTs is really where he made a lot of money. And if he wants to become the next, like, Walt Disney, not all of these characters are going to be loved. Like even at Disney, you have more failed characters than you do successful ones at Disney. So like maybe the Secured Sparrow is one that never takes off. Maybe he's one that just is lost to time and forgotten because like there's a reason. Like, so when I matched in my Gary the VFriends, who's your character, it was Adventurous Astronaut. And even the guy Brent Trades yesterday said, hey, that's actually a really good character, like top 10, like people really like him. And it was like $1,000 for him. So clearly there's a reason why Secured Sparrow was like $200 and Adventurous Astronaut was $1,000, because people probably like Adventurous Astronaut just a little bit more, like 4 times more apparently, or 5 times more. And the Secured Sparrow, so again, like already you're kind of seeing like, well, if he's if he's worth 5 times more, maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's because he's more popular and people like him. And I think because he doesn't have a face. I mean, I assume underneath his mask he's got a face, causing me nightmares. But I think it's because part of the reason why Halo did really well back in the day as well, because you can be Master Chief. You don't see him as like a white guy, black guy, brown guy, or a girl like Zero Suit Samus. She's hot. You just see him as someone like that's faceless. Like anyone can be Master Chief. Anyone can be that adventurous astronaut, especially now today. Today you had I think Lex Friedman gave a nice post about it. He said humans just launched into space on their way to the moon, flyby around it. It'll be the farthest humans have ever traveled into deep space. Congrats to all the incredible engineers and teams involved. Let's freaking go. So, I mean, you have real life astronauts like today that I probably should have bought the Adventurous Astronaut. But you have real life astronauts today that are going and getting that bread. I feel like astronauts were heroes back in the day, and now not as much, not so much. They should be. They're great. They're spectacular things go up in space. But yeah, I think that's probably why Adventurous Astronaut is doing so well, and why the Secured Sparrow is is only $200 as opposed to it's 20% of what the astronaut is. Anyway, I don't know if Bleaves is coming on. He didn't. I mean, we agreed at this time. He didn't say if he didn't actually confirm it. I sent him the link a few hours ago. I was like, hey, see you at 8. No response. So we'll see if he can come on or not. I don't know. Let's get to the comments. Yeah. Bill Gardner, give me those dabs. Love you, Bill Gardner. Bush says yuppers. This is a really thick protein shake. What's up, my boy? Bill, what's that? Bill OG. Echo 712. What up, fam? Crazy Dan 420 says yo, yo, yo. Yeah, I saw that movie at midnight last night, and I did a quick video review on it at like 4 in the morning. And then I had a meeting today at 11, so I didn't get a ton of sleep. So your boy is tired. Maybe Zombie says, yo, what up, Zombie? OG Zombie. You can be Master Chief. But Earth knows the astronauts are high-paid actors. I am dumb enough to say that even though I'm 99.9% positive and sure that we've been to the moon, I'm not 100% because, again, I'm not smart enough to be like, oh, no, it was fake. Well, I'll also say this, like a genuine belief is that we have been to the moon, but the video of the moon landing is probably fake. Like the video of the moon landing is probably not real, or it's heavily doctored. That being said, I do believe we've gone to the moon. What is up there? I have no idea. I did meet an astronaut when I was in the military. I forget the dude's name. Big black dude. It was cool. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we have gone there. Again, I can't say for sure because I've not done it myself, but it's as much as I can understand of it. Yeah, it seems pretty possible. Bill Garza's booth. Astronauts would be appreciated if a few of them didn't lie about the moon landing. I'll be quiet now. Point is, I agree with you, but they did. Who was it that had mentioned something? Was it on their deathbed or was it on? Yeah, was it Buzz Aldrin that had mentioned something about somebody lying, or maybe someone mentioned about? But I don't remember it clearly enough to say like as a matter of factly. But yeah, booth. Zombie. Who says, okay, so look, Randy, when you're a millionaire, buy a drone or baby rocket, flash a camera to it, take video from miles in the sky. I'm pretty sure I have. I'm pretty sure there's videos that exist people in planes because a drone I don't think could get to like what are you trying to remember when that dude or when Red Bull like had the dude from like low orbit space like jump from space into Earth? You can see there, like I'm 99% sure. I'm as sure the Earth is round as I'm sure that we've been to the moon. So like 99. I'm not gonna lie though. I don't know why, but I feel more sure that we've been to the moon than that. I'm pretty sure the Earth is round, but I'm also pretty sure that I can't 100%. Something weird is going on in Antarctica. It's been that way for a long time. I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is. I feel like I've told that story before with the security forces and the I don't know. Something weird. And remember like last year when like this pilot from like Chile or something was like in the air for like longer than he should have been. He tried to go to the Antarctica, but he made it from Antarctica to some place like that should have taken hours and it didn't take that long. And then like he mysteriously died. Then we'll know. Technically, making the Omega Speed Masters whole story a farce about going to the moon, but it did survive NASA testing, so that's credible itself. I have to read up more on that. Those are words that I have not strung together and punched into a search engine. No such thing as Black Astro. I swear I met him. He's a cool dude. I met him in like 2013, I think. He was on my Air Force base, and yeah, I got to meet him. It was cool. Definitely not a coincidence we're going back to the moon on April. Bro, that's the okay. So happy April Fool's Day. I fucking hate this holiday because I can't believe anything I see on the internet. I had a meeting this morning and some guy is like, hey, I heard, I heard we got candy. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I heard Collect Chain got candy. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's an April Fool's joke. And he's like, no, I saw it. And I was like, I don't think you did. So I looked at it. I was like, yeah, this is an April Fool's joke. He's like, oh, I was like, yeah. Like there was a lot of even Charles Hoskins, like I expect that from like people that have like never run a business or know the consequences of like I know it's a joke, but you're essentially lying to your constituents, your consumers, people that give you money. If you're a business owner, but so again, I understand why some people, because I get it, it's funny. But Charles Hoskinson's like, we're gonna migrate. We're not gonna be called Midnight Token anymore. We're gonna be called Noon Token. We're gonna do away with the privacy. And I'm like, what the like? This was Charles Hoskinson. That was like, oh my god, that was insane. So a bunch of people like, oh my god, what? This is horrible. And I was like, bro. And like you see on like the new contract code, it's APR one, something like that. It was like, 420 or 4. It had like the address of April 1st in there. I was like, this people are wild and out there. So I typically try to stay off of the internet on April 1st because of that reason. Because people be playing too much out there. Rob Cooks says, Randy, my niece walked in while I was watching your stream and she heard you meow, meow, meow. And now she meows at everything. Let's go. What have you done? What have you done? Okay. Hold on. I actually had a hold on. I actually have the origin photo story. Oh god, is it from the 31st? Maybe it's from the 30th. Oh, glad I didn't show that. It's not from April 1st, right? I was so hot back in the day. I was like 18. That's Pikachu. Maybe it's March 30th. No, not March 30th. Is it March 29th? Trying to go way back here. The reason why I'm going back into my Snapchat memories, that nearly 200,000 Baldur's Gate 3 players boinked the bear. Okay, hold on. We're going back to 28th. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, where the heck? Maybe it's this week from previous years. Guess it's not. Long story short, it was these it was me and my friend DC and my friend Zervan, and they were in cat shirts, and it was like the origin, and I guess I don't have it. I guess it's all done. Stupid. Anyway, it'll have to remain a mystery. Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay. Dr. Werner von Braun. His gravestone has a psalm, the firmament showeth his handiwork. We in a snow globe, my boy, much love. I don't know, man. Maybe I just don't want to believe. Maybe it's just there's no way. Like now, there's science out there that says like no, because of XYZ, here's what you have to do for escape velocity, and it makes sense. I am not smart. I do not have the time or funds to test it, nor would I want to. Like let's say in order to build a rocket that would escape like okay, you need what's escape velocity? How many joules of energy do you have to go to like? Let's say I had an extra $1 billion or couple billion, however much it takes to launch a rocket into space. I'm not doing that just to see, like, just to make sure. Like, there are people a lot smarter than me, like Elon Musk, that has supposedly done that, and you have a bunch of other VCs and other people that are giving him like I think the IPO for SpaceX, how many hundreds of billions is it worth, or how many tens of billions? They're not giving the dude billions of dollars like for a thing that doesn't exist. I can't. Now maybe it's all a farce. Maybe Elon Musk is so smart that he has convinced these above average people that are just really good at making money, but maybe they're bad at science. Like, yeah, we could totally do this. And then he throws a bunch of numbers at him. Like in that episode of Modern Family where Claire and Cam are fixing up a house and she's trying to get him to save money. He's like, listen, we're over 30% on this. We can cut if we do, 11% less on the landscaping, 10% on this, like basically confusing him with numbers. if Elon Musk is Claire and the money people that give him money are Cam, and the money people which are really good at making money but really bad at science, Elon Musk can just like pull the wool over their eyes, rug over their eyes, whatever. Maybe that's possible. Maybe there's a thing in which a universe in which that happens. I just can't believe it's this one. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Sure. It's much easier for me to live my life doing what I'm doing, where I can just accept that, yeah, like this, even though I'm pretty sure all of this is real, the part of me that, like, maybe, but it's not important enough for me to like go and test that out myself. Like, I feel like there are better ways to spend my money where there are legit suffering animals and endangered species in the world where like we can gauge that, because regardless of who gauges what in the belief of flat earth or gone to the moon or not, like what does it matter? Like let's say I have a couple $1 billion and I do that, and then I prove, motherfucker, the earth is actually flat. And apologies if your niece is still in the building. Did not mean to curse with your niece. Anyway, should not do that. Should not repeat the words that I say. But let's say I did that, and I'm like, you know what? I found out the earth is flat. That doesn't help the animals. That doesn't help the suffering in the world. And you know what? Conspiracy theorists have been right. I think they even, another point to the conspiracy theorists, the bullet that they found, or like the guy that they want to charge with the unaliving of Charlie Kirk, the bullet that they found did not match the rifle casing or the rifle that was found at the scene. And it's like, if you were to say that a few months ago, you're just like, yeah, that sounds insane. You're a conspiracy nut. And turns out they're right. Conspiracy theorists, I feel like, are more right than they are wrong. A lot of the examples of that come from Alex Jones. Just, I don't know how the fudge he'd be knowing this stuff. But even if I were to discover that, how many hundreds of millions or billions of dollars does that cost? And does that lessen any suffering in the world? I'm trying to think, and I don't think it does. If anything, that might cause more suffering in the world. Now, can that maybe in one scenario cause so much distrust of government that stuff starts to change? In an ideal world scenario, sure, but I doubt it. If there's one thing that the government's really good at, it's getting people to focus on stuff that doesn't matter. And I feel like it's all about division with them. And like I feel like they would hate to see us all come together and be like, to heck if you're Republican, Libertarian, Democrat, we're all just people. Like, I feel like governments of the world would hate that. That being said, again, if I were to figure out, let's say, confirm Earth is flat, that doesn't help the suffering animals. That doesn't help the suffering people. Just me wasting $1 billion. And I don't want to say wasting. That's me spending $1 billion to find out something and cool. But I also, God forbid, like, let's say I do that, and it's like, you know what? Let's say I do that when I'm 40. Yeah, I managed to get, $500 million in the help of AI. I launched a rocket. And even though the occupants in it, hopefully were just AI and not actual real people, they crashed and died and burned. But you know what? I found out, yeah, the world's actually round. Didn't have to spend the $800 million on that. So even if it works, even if either way, it's a net loss with almost no positive outcomes, almost all negative. And the money that I could have used for that to better the world and lessen suffering, I now can't use because I used it on something that at the end of the day doesn't really affect anything in the world. Like, can it affect science textbooks? Sure. Will it then be harder for the government to Cover stuff up? Yeah, I mean, it's getting harder for the government to cover stuff up anyway, because it is just in general. That's the way the world's going. Um, should always be distrust for government, always. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. Where even though I will admit to not being smart enough to have read everything and been like, yep, this is the real thing. This is why the Earth is round and why it can't be flat. I just at the end of the day, there's not enough reason for me to want to like it. I mean, knowledge is cool. Like knowing stuff is never a bad thing, but I don't know. I'm yeah. Oh, I'm way behind on comments. Come comment everything. Tell me why I'm wrong or why I'm not. I would say that because I've been on a plane and helicopter, and up there it looks flat AF. No, I've been on multiple planes, more than most people. And yeah, but we're also not high enough to really see the thing. But remember the Red Bull thing? Again, the Red Bull launched a guy from space. You kind of see the curvature there. Oh, high enough in an airplane to see the curve. Agreed. It would have to be a private, special made aircraft. Agreed. Agreed. Hollow Earth. And yeah, so that is the thing where I maybe not a flat Earth that I believe, but I am willing to give a lot, like because I'm like 99% plus sure that we've gone to the moon, Earth is round, but I am not that sure that we don't have some type of hollow Earth. I'm gonna say there's like a greater than 5% chance that I mean, there's gotta be something. And maybe it's not what we think it is. Maybe it's like, oh, there is something like that, but it's not really what I don't know. Is there another civilization down there? Is there another civilization in the water? I mean, didn't NASA used to study the ocean? And then for some reason they stopped studying the ocean, even though the ocean, like very few, small amount of the ocean was ever really traversed. NASA built to like, yeah, like Google it, built to like study the ocean, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna stop and we're just gonna focus on space. Why? Did they determine that there was nothing cool down there? Because I guarantee you there is. I want to believe in mermaids too. Like I want to believe in Loch Ness Monster. I want to believe in mermaids. I feel like I've seen some things in some videos where it's like, you know what, maybe that could be a mermaid. Now, could it just be like something like some type of like some type of fish or manatee, like weird evolved creature that we haven't seen with seaweed on top? Yeah, sure. Sure. But I don't know, man. I feel like I've seen tools where they had like a piece of like fishermen have found a piece of like almost like bamboo or something with like the stinger of like a not a jelly but stinger of something, like something made this tool to like hunt with. And could it have been like a orangutan, some type of ape, whatever that made it? Sure, but I, mm, I'm sure there's something. And now I know that's different than Hollow Earth, but I don't. Mm, 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 mm. I don't know enough. I haven't really gone down that Hollow Earth rabbit hole. But do you remember? Hold on, I'm gonna find something for you. It's in my history. It's gonna be from several days ago, but it came up in my memories not that long ago. It's called Dr. Creep Pandemic Feat Lone Ninja Montage Music Video Cuts by DJ Mod. Just Dr. Creep Pandemic FEAT. Came out in 2013. But around like the 55-second mark, the minute mark, whatever it is, it's got it talks about the year 2020 and the name of the certain pandemic thing that we all, I don't want to say it on here. This video came out in 2013, talks about 2020, talks about the name, like the full name of the thing that we saw in the pandemic. Again, don't want to say it on here. Time traveler, Simpsons writer, I don't know. A lot of crazy stuff. No, so they tell you in reality there is no curvature law. Think about it. I've thought about it, and I'm pretty sure there is. They're liars, boys. Yo, what's up, Omar? How's it going? Bruh, we're so early. You know how I know? You know how you know? Because that collect chain just was birthed. Yes, agreed. It was just birthed. Yeah, April Fool's is a very weird stuff. Surprised the CIA didn't release a tweet today saying birds are real. That would be hysterical. That would be very hysterical. True today. Announcements have you seen today? Media accept as truth. Oh my God. Shout out to Space Penguin. And I love it. I love my Space Penguin fam. They're so cool. Space Penguins are the best around. Nothing's gonna have her creeping down, hold her down. Listen to that sound. A little bit of all you got will never bring you down. Sorry. Love that song. Yeah, Booth. We still early. OMI DEFX didn't even sell out. Naked Women, another bushy one airdrop. What? Out of 110 editions. About double siding. As long as we're talking about things here. Give me one sec. I'll show y'all what I mean. On today, Ang number 1 and 2 today. Commons number 1, Secret Rares number 2. Why is that? Wasn't the Ang drop? Didn't that sell out a while ago? Why are people still buying? $40. My God. This is at retail on VeVe. That's insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. There's only 4 of them on Stacker that are under $30. Gold Quest has 163 of these freaking things. Ferryman's got 108. Vicente has 94. I have 76. I feel like a loser with 76. Saloni's got 72. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. That is bananas. So yeah, a lot of people be going and buying that Ang 8, 13, 17, 21, 24. There's like 24% of the supply just in the top 5 people. That is insane. Says OMI DEFX is terrible. What? Don't support it. Some of these prices are racist. So there's the OG paintings. The price is racist. Are the white paintings worth more than the black paintings? What about the brown paintings? Where are they? Good evening, gents. Good evening, Christian Desapio 8518. How you doing today? Meow meow meow. Who's what? OMI DEFX stuff. Yeah, I like OMI DEFX. I like they have really cool hot sauce too. They sent me hot sauce. I haven't used it yet because apparently it's super rare, but I have it. Curious. I believed in outer space for almost my entire life. Everything in existence has been encapsulated in a snow globe, and we're all being observed by a creator, whatever you believe that to be. So I'm gonna believe that we are. Well, I would hope that we are being observed by a creator. Because, well, I'll be selfish. I'm a good person. I'm a net positive in this universe by a lot. And I hope at some point, whether this is a game, whatever, like I get rewarded for that in the future. Now, got a pretty good life, so I feel like I've been rewarded for that a lot already, but I continue to live a very wholesome life, mostly. Now that I think about it, sometimes not that wholesome, but in general, very positive, and again, net positive to the universe, to this world. And I think the universe or God or creator has rewarded me so far and will continue to reward me. But I also believe that it's possible that this is just one of maybe an infinite amount of simulations, and it doesn't matter what we do. Like it's like, you know, they create a bunch of simulations to see which one gives them whatever first, and they found that, and the rest of them they just kind of let go. It's like when Mr. Beast was in like some type of Minecraft server once, never to return. Like he was there once to do something, and people still go there in case he shows up, but he's never shown up since. Maybe a bunch of simulations were created because the creators needed to figure out something, and they needed to do it by simulations. They got the answer, and they're just like, let's just let them run. You know, let's just let them do their thing. But I would hope that I would hope that we matter. I mean, you could look at it one of two ways, right? Like, give me a second. You could look at it as, like, you know what the background of my phone is? I mean, you see the TikTok there, but you see Andromeda. Like you see, you know, let me show you this. Hmm. Okay, that's the next galaxy. We're in the Milky Way. This is Andromeda. And we're taking a small part of it, a very small part of it, and we're going to go in, and we're going to, I don't need the, well, I guess I can read it. Provides a glimpse at the sheer scale of the next galaxy. All of these little flicker things of light are stars, many of them populated by planets. You can't count how many there are. How many of them are in the Goldilocks zone, where they could possibly sustain the life that we can calculate, and that we can be like, okay, this is a life that we know of. It's an insane amount. And you see it, hold on, can I fast forward this a little bit? That is an insane amount of suns. Like there's more light than there is darkness. So again, I would hope that what we do matters. And you could look at it one of two ways. The Earth can get hit by a giant meteor, and the rest of the universe probably wouldn't notice. Any one of these suns could explode, and it would not affect the picture that we're seeing right now. Any one of those suns could explode, and it wouldn't affect the picture at all. So you could look at it like nothing you do matters, because, well, if the Earth could explode and it doesn't affect this, the whole solar system could be wiped, and it doesn't affect anything we're seeing here in our nearest neighboring galaxy, then what does it matter what I do? Or you could look at it like, well, like that Steve Irwin on his birthday one year, there was a bunch of beach whales, I think, and he just was pouring water on them, trying to make them as comfortable as possible. Reminds me of that meme of this, like hundreds of thousands, like insane amount of starfish washed up on the beach, and this guy's like throwing them back in, and he's just like, you know, he's throwing them back in, and the guy next to him is like, bro, like there's so many of them out here, like you're not going to make a difference. And he says, it makes a difference to this one, as he tosses them back in. Look at my ex posting just a little bit of chemtrails. Crazy, yeah, there's a reason why we dated. So if one person, like, again, that one person tossing back in all of those starfish that had washed up, it's like, okay, it matters to that one. Okay, well, maybe that helped that one, his friend, become a better person, and maybe he helped them, and maybe it's like, okay, you help this one person, that matters to that person, doesn't matter to anyone else. Well, again, you can inspire people. Like nowadays, like not even an influencer, but just normal people on socials will know 1,000 people, and those people know 1,000. So that puts you, one away from 1,000,000 and two persons away from 1,000,000,000, and you don't know the ripple effect that can cause. And maybe you could look at it like the things you do and the things you say have more of an effect than you think. And again, as far as what we do here, again, you could look at it as the former, or say like, yeah, it's not going to matter to the universe. Or you could look at it like everything matters. And I would rather look at it as the latter, because yeah, from the PI days, from helping people, from just the women I date to the friends in my circle, again, I know I'm positive influence, and I want to believe that. I'd like to believe that would be rewarded. Now, obviously, in my own little bubble like that, enjoyment, or that's reward enough, knowing that I'm living a good life and I'm helping others. But I think it would be cool, like if this is all a game, I think it would be cool to like, hey, what's your score? I had this many karma points, like, oh, that's really good. You did well in this life. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Now that I know more, maybe I can do it again and I can get a high score next time. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Is it just the art they chose, not every piece? In school, they tossed Leonardo da Vinci and some racist paintings. Most of the history, yeah, listen, art is not my bag, baby. I don't know. I don't know really near as much as anyone else like that would study it. I mean, how old was? All right. What year was Leonardo da Vinci born? Well, he was born in 1542. The Ides of April, April 15th. You think in 1452, probably a bit of racism in the world. Probably, he probably wasn't that racist, but for the time, everyone was probably a little bit racist. Everyone was probably like, I saw a TikTok of this girl the other day. She's just like, no, I'm gonna say it. I love racial slurs, and I was like, sometimes they're funny. It depends on the setting. It depends on like you and your boys, right? In the group chats, like you can't tell me that you and the boys in the group chats sometimes aren't a little bit like, oh, hey, what did this, I feel like group chats get a little wild sometimes. And yeah, and that's today in 2026. So of course in 1452 there's going to be some racism stuff. Back in the day, I think it was just how people talked and did things. Like again, even in like how many of our like grandparents at like Thanksgiving tables said some like stuff in the 90s that like, oh, that would get them canceled today, just the way they talk. This wouldn't touch on as myself, but yeah, that's fair. Teach their own. Aliens and Demons. Aleister Crowley communicated with LAM a long time ago and mentioned today we are called demons. We will be known in the future as aliens. Interdimensional entities are real. Didn't J.D. Vance say that like aliens weren't really aliens, they were really demons? Unless I'm misremembering that. I don't want to spread fake news, especially on April 1st. Sorry. Lorelei. OMI. Okay. I also feel like I've been going 15 minutes. Oh God. Okay, hold on. We gotta get back to these comments here. You have to think about Abraham Lincoln, but he also freed the slaves. So a lot of people couldn't have had previous beliefs, but then matured in them later on. I don't judge him for it. Yeah. Good bad. Yep. Yeah, but also Leonardo da Vinci used to have sex with the sex with the Prince of Rome, Caesar Borgia. Don't know how to pronounce that. And they paid him to paint portraits for the church. Just saying. So he was gay, or did they? I mean, was he gay, or did he used to have, you know, the adult relations with the Prince of Rome just to get some moolah? You know, oldest profession. Then they paid him to paint portraits. Yeah, so maybe he just, did it so he can get the job to paint portraits for the church. I mean, he did paint a bunch of dude with the units out on them, though. You know, like he painted a lot of male genitalia. You know, so maybe I don't know. I don't know. Some secret. He was. Oh, okay. So we getting deep on the secret society stuff. Easier to fool someone than it is to convince someone they've been fooled. Agreed. We aren't in the know about how the way things really operate, even surface level. Us is real versus U.S. and Israel versus Iran. Need to know. I mean, follow the money, probably figure it out. That's probably why I went to Venezuela first, and get the oil, and then China gets a lot of their oil from Iran, and you want to control that oil, and it's a power move. If you want to control how where people get their energy from, yeah, do it under the guise of, yeah, this person's bad, they have a nuclear weapon, they want to wage war on the U.S. and Israel. Yeah, but yeah, when we go and someone's got to take control of the oil, might as well be us. And is that the exact logic? Probably not the exact, but I feel like that's a pretty, legit thing. Like, again, talk about one thing, they're close to a nuclear weapon. Like, all right, imagine trying to get support for it, and again, just hire an actor for it, hire an advisor that's not just like that says, I have some terrible news. Some of our greatest spies, some of my best men, some of the ones that I served with back in the day, have told me a terrible truth. Iran scientists, we all know how good they are, despite the Achilles heel in their part of the world, despite all of the, unnecessary and horrible things that the country and government have done to their people. Their scientists still thrive. And what my guys tell me is that they're weeks away from a nuclear weapon. We don't know how many they're going to be able to create, but we know they'll use them on us, on Israel, our friends. And sure, you could say that, the U.S. isn't our allies. We are ourselves. We give all of the, like 70% of, funding towards NATO. Let them fend for themselves. Sure. But how many innocent people are going to die because of that before we take action? How many millions of lives, possibly billions, could we save if we strike first and prevent it from ever happening? The price of freedom is high. It always has been. But it's a price I'm willing to pay. And if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet that I'm not. Like say something like that. Like, pay someone to go in and then give that epic speech, and then people will be like, yeah, I'm in. We got to do it. Give it to your commanders, give it to your officers, your base commanders. Have them say that stuff to the people, get support for it, and then in really over here, like, yeah, we're gonna get budge out of this oil. Talking to Qatar, U.S. Arab Emirates, talk to all of the kings of these, Arab money oil nations. Be like, yeah, your main competitor over here, crazy Iran, we're gonna take them out, and we're gonna split the spoils on this. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, as long as you support us in this war, we'll cut you off a piece of the oil that we get. We'll make sure that you're taken care of. We just want to make sure that we kind of heck China with this. We get, y'all continue to make your money. We'll get Elon Musk to slow down, in your part of the world. We'll have him go to Japan. We'll have him go to China. We'll have him go in those nations first, so y'all can, he doesn't disrupt y'all's line of money. You're probably like, that's more likely how it probably would have happened, in my opinion. Now, again, like you said, like we're all operating on conjecture here. But again, we know like what they say is one thing, what they know is, and what they do is another thing. Yeah, if you dig deep, some of the paintings he got paid dues against colored people, but I mean, it's not all I'm on X. So like they are. Yeah, no, that's fair. It's not for everyone. Hollow Earth is interesting because if you go down the ocean, it always gets colder. It's magma at the core that goes against that theory. I would say there's got to be that inflection point where like it'll get colder because you're getting away from the sun and getting away from any type of ground that would re-radiate the heat from that sun. But then at some point going to the core, yeah, you're going to get warmer because of that. Because the water, even the deepest parts of the oceans, are still above like the crust of the earth. So that's my defense against that. Good water. Bible constantly refers to hell being in the earth. Really? I just started. I don't know if you were here the other day when I was going over with Booth and I think Incorrigible Goat Slayer. Yeah. Definitely meow 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 of meow before. Oh. I'm a believer now, or I'm more of a believer in Noah's Ark because of that period where it rained for 1,000,000 years. Like it nonstop rained for 1,000,000 years. So now, yeah, 40 days and 40 nights, that seems a lot more doable than, yeah, 1,000,000 years. The world is crazy. The world is an insane place. And hell being on Earth, I mean, you have some, well, okay, so you have some people like in the US that are just like, this place is hell on earth. This place is, there's a world's going to hell in a handbasket. The music sucks. You have ice, people, you have gangs everywhere. You have rapings and beatings and murders. And it's like, okay, sure. But a lot of people in the US, I get it. You have those people that are just like, oh, it's hell on earth over here. But if you're in the first world, like if you're in a wet, life is pretty good. And I get it. I'm in that privileged group where I have a good circle. I've worked really hard and I've earned a lot, but so I'm in an area that's fairly comfortable. And I probably would always be. Although I do miss those cheap Chinese places and those cheap sometimes you just miss that street food. Sometimes you just miss that. Anyway, you do have real like war-torn like African countries where they're like chopping off the women's chest so they can't breastfeed, and like there's some Middle Eastern countries that are putting like acid on kids' face. Like there is real evil in this world, and there's some real people that need to get got, right? And there is real places on in this world where people's lives are hell. Mostly it's not in the US. Mostly it's in and I'm not saying that you're saying that, but there are some places on earth where yes, living is hell, life is hell. I'm very curious to see what the Bible would say about it. Might be a globe. I don't know. Leaning towards flat Earth. Cryptids are real. I believe in a few of them. Mermaids, Bigfoot, Loch Ness. I would hope, but really, mermaids, Bigfoot, and then I guess abominable snowman, like the Yeti, because listen, there's yeah, I think I would believe in. I would like to believe in that one, right? I want to. There's also, I think Bigfoot was on like Ancient Aliens one, something with like Nazis and time travel and Bigfoot. I don't know the connection. I think I was really high or drunk when I was watching it. It was really cool though. But yeah, I love cryptids. I feel like just get rich, buy a plane, fly straight east, and don't stop. Usually end up back in the same spot. There's probably a globe. I don't think a plane can make it around the globe in one spot, you know. 110 dishes pretty good. Pump size mints, meow meow. You think you'll be able to open a store in the VeVeverse one day? Full show stocked with Angs for Randy? Yeah, I'm sure. I mean there are people like in Decentraland right now that have stores. Like there was a Gucci store there. No one's in it. The Gucci left in like 2023, but yeah, in VeVeverse it'll be the same thing. Like you'll probably have stuff there. But like how much foot traffic is going to be there, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Net negative to OMI investors' wallets. I would not say that is true. I would say that if anything, anyone that had invested in the OMI token would be thanking me, because without me, it probably, one, it wouldn't have reached as high as it did in the bull back in the day, and it probably would have dumped a lot harder without me. So I would say that the opposite is true. You could say that, you could argue that some people that say like, okay, Randy's buying here, I'm going to buy here. And then they would have lost money that way if they had sold, but I haven't sold. So again, if they're following me and they're just DCAing like I am, then everything's just on paper, gains or losses. And really at that point, whether you follow me or not, and I've never said to do exactly as I do, unless it's for fitness, which a lot of times, or unless it's for like, hey, military questions or whatever. Because yeah, people that are going into basic training or people that are about to hit their first duty station, whatever. Yeah, obviously got experience in that area. But yeah, if they're following my moves and like, okay, he's buying this, and they're not selling like I'm not selling, then yeah, everything's just on paper. And I think they'll be happy in the future. What we do in this life echoes in eternity. I hope so. I really do, because again, like I think more people are positive than negative. Like I love being around Bill. I love being around Booth. I like the conversations we have. And then you have some people that are just super negative and people don't like, but at the same time, I feel like those people are few and far between, even though on the internet they tend to blow up a little bit more. Like a little bat, baby bat scene with his ears. Oh, the echolocation. Yeah. Yeah, some people are cool. Some people are great. Message? You message me or me message you? For now, Randy Chavez, just a bunch of meow meow meow. Oh, audiences say the Super Mario Galaxy movie is verified hot, 91% on the popcorn meter. How the fudge did they get 44% on Rotten Tomatoes? That is insane. Rotten Tomatoes is trash. If they scored Mario a 44%, like if they scored Mario 44%, they're just lying. They're just haters, and I don't believe them. People have been racist since the beginning of time. Yeah, and again, even now, certain things are funny. Like I remember it came up in my memories on Facebook not that long ago, where I was I pull up to my friend Brittany's. There was a new, I think it was a 1972 Pista. There's a new car like in front of the house. So I was like, hey, you know, new car. And Kara was parked on the lawn. And she's like, yeah, and I'm parked on the lawn by a freaking Peruvian. I was like, I parked on the car. I parked on the lawn like once, and it's just like, yeah, you, the Mexicans, the Colombians. I was like, and then she was like, I'm pretty sure all brown people do that. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure all brown people do that too, because yeah, a lot of I can't speak for other Peruvians, but I've had a bunch of other Latin friends that yeah, park their cars on their lawns. It's space. What else is it there for? Like to use, right? Okay. Anyway, some things are just funny. Something like if something's funny, it's funny. Air Blues. Maybe one day AI will give us the answers to all these unknowns. I hope so. I think it'll help. I'm pretty sure it'll help. Need to get back to the days of Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor. Yeah. Yeah. Carlos Mencia. Although apparently Carlos Mencia stole a lot of material. But yeah. I mean, comedy was comedy. We had some good stuff. The things you say make people laugh? Yes. And tell Bill have a Coke and smile. Have a Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor on the phone per Eddie Murphy on his Raw stand-up. Yeah. I saw Raw. Well, I saw both. Raw was good. Delirious was like, that made me laugh so hard the first time that came out, or the first time I saw it. Raw was good. I mean, better than anything I could ever like write or do, right? But Delirious was just like, that was great. That was hysterical. But yeah, Raw was good too. Yeah. Okay, the prince, and because he was in a relationship with the prince, they picked him as a painter. He didn't have those relations where he can get paid. Well, that'd be funny. That would be funny. But no, but I mean, like, did he know? Like, was he not in line to get the job until he was boinking the prince? And because he was boinking the prince, and he knew he'd get the job? I don't know. I'd love to interview him. We're on the way to the moon, first time in 50 years. Hopefully, get new footage around the moon. That would be nice. I'd hope we would. Yeah. Still alive. Come on down. Well, it's an hour late, but we have Believes that's still coming up. It's still coming on. So, you know, good times. Get the Arab money. Not to mention, every culture on every continent has flood origin stories. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that as well. And again, I think it's something to do with the Grand Canyon. Like the Grand Canyon in the way that I don't know what it the erosion of the water is supposedly in a direction where it like calls like a flood. Shout out to L Man, aka Life with Genergy. She always gives me some love every now and then on my posts. She liked it and said it was straight fire. Love that gal. We'll have to get her on the podcast again soon. Current conspiracy is Palm Beach Pete and all the similarities to My Name's Jeff and Zorro Ranch, property that has documented police reports involving very devious behavior. Police reports. I will take a look into that. My man, what's going on?
What's happening, man?
Why are you naked?
Look at me. I'm all red. I'm burnt.
You ripped AF, right, bro.
I am jacked up right now. I am burning. I've been tanning.
Oh, damn! You much bigger than me.
Yeah,
you're so much bigger than me.
I was tanning today, and I do it like once a week or so, just to keep, just so I look a little bit Mexican, just in case ICE is around. And
why would you want to look brown if ICE is around?
Dude, if they attack me or something, I'm getting a check, right?
It's a good point. It's a good point. So, honestly, I hoped for that too. Sorry, keep going.
So I went into the tanner, and they had brand new lights. So I'm baked right now. Like my skin is just on fire. So
do you do like heat or cold therapy, like saunas or ice baths?
No, I'm not gay.
Saunas are so good though.
Yeah, like I know. I'm just kidding. I do. As a matter of fact, what I do is, and by the way, 38 days in a row at the gym. I haven't missed a day in 38 days.
I skipped yesterday because I did 11 days in a row, and I was like, I need a break. I'm also in a caloric deficit, so that's.
I've always been in a caloric deficit. I'm down 145 pounds. So
yeah,
I'm always, but every day I have a 20-ounce bottle. I fill it up. I go in the sauna. When I finish that, I go fill it up again. And then I drink that while I'm in the sauna. When I'm done, then I go to a hot tub. And then I drink one more in the hot tub. So I've got 60 ounces.
60 ounces?
I'm not done yet. Then I go back into the sauna after the hot tub, and I drink another 20 ounce, and then I drink one more after that. I have 100 ounces of water while I'm in the sauna and the hot tub every day.
How long does this take you?
So the first bottle of water is usually 10 minutes. The second one is about 5 minutes. Then I go into the hot tub, and I go into the hot tub for 15 or 20 minutes, and I just kind of sip it, you know, kind of slowly. If I haven't drank it by 20 minutes, then I just down the whole thing. Then I just go fill it back up again, and I go back into the sauna, and then 5 minutes there. And then I go out and get another one, and then 5 minutes again. The first one takes me a longer time because I just kind of, you know, just to heat up the body and stuff like that.
So, I mean, I don't think I drink. I'm pretty sure I drink between 60 and 80 ounces like a day.
Yeah.
But you're doing that, like, that is insane. Like, how much do you weigh?
225.
Okay. Only,
but also,
okay.
Also, I guess let's do the whole thing. When I wake up in the morning, I have a cup of coffee. It's a 10-ounce cup, and I use like all the same cups every time. And you know, we have a, what do you call it, Keurig, and I just hit the Keurig, a 10-ounce coffee every morning. Because, and by the way, like, I'm not really sold on coffee. I don't like coffee. I'm not a, you know, like a happy I don't drink it all day or anything. But polyphenols in it are supposed to be really good for you. There is like a 70 to 80% decreased risk of Alzheimer's disease for people that drink coffee versus people who don't drink coffee. So I drink a cup of coffee every morning. Then I have a the old quarts, the 28 ounce, you know, the old 40s that are now 28s. I drink a 28-ounce water before my show. Then I do, you know, then I do my show. Then I go to the gym, and then I drink another 100. Then when I get home, I have a banana, an apple, or an orange, and a protein shake. And then a little while later after that, I have dinner, and then that's what I do. And then while I'm...
There's not a lot of calories either.
When I'm fucking around in the evening, I drink another water, 28 ounce. So I drink a lot of water.
How, like, so I'm sure that something was up with my prostate from just boxing back in the day, and
we're trying to finger it,
not jerking off for a long periods of time. But I already get up to pee minimum once a night. How often do you pee? Because I would be peeing. I already, if I wanted to, I could pee every hour from my 60 to 80 ounces a day.
So I get up in the morning, I get out of bed, I go walk my dog. After I walk the dog, she jumps back in bed. I give her a snack. Then I go make my coffee. I go make my water. Then while that's while the coffee's brewing, that's when I go pee. And then after my show, I go pee again before I go to the gym. And then I don't really pee at the gym. I every once in a while, you know, rarely, but then I come home and maybe pee again, maybe not. Which, by the way, that is weird, right? Like, we should be able to agree that drinking 100 ounces of water, I should be like,
well, if your body's used to it, then, you know, and especially if you're like, some people go to the gym and they don't really sweat. They like kind of work out, but they don't. Like, if you're sweating a lot, like, you're obviously, you know, like, losing those fluids. So you're replacing those fluids that you lost with that. But yeah, 100 ounces is a fudge ton.
Yeah. And I for whatever reason, I don't have to pee, you know.
Oh, so you mentioned gay. Speaking of gay, we were talking about Leonardo da Vinci, and apparently he was with this prince, and because he had a relationship with the prince, they picked him as the painter for like the church. And I thought that was interesting. I did not know that. I'm not a huge art guy.
I'm not a Leo maxi, so I wouldn't know anything about that. I can tell you this. If I were to ask you, like, what do you think the best rap band is? Group, band, you know, who's your favorite?
I mean, the ones that what I
best.
guess
Who is
D12 and Run DMC.
D12 and Run DMC. Okay, so
I don't really know a lot of groups.
D12 is all from Detroit, right? Run DMC, they're all from Brooklyn, I think. I feel like it's Brooklyn.
Okay.
Wu-Tang Clan, they're all from Brooklyn. How does all that talent get into one place? I don't think that it does. I think that it's just a product of, you know, sometimes you get together and the magic happens. And my point to it all is anybody could have done the Sistine Chapel. Anybody could have done, you know, all of these different things. Somebody got chosen to do it. That person became a legend. They may not have even been the best painter around.
True.
You know, in history, 100 years from now, we'll probably look around and we'll probably say that Elon Musk was one of the smartest people that have ever lived. He's a moron compared to most geniuses. You know what I mean? But history is usually pop culture. And the people who are the best are not really, you know what I mean? Like they're not always those people. I mean, we remember who invented the light bulb. We go with Thomas Edison. We call him this genius, but really he just stole it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not always what it seems. So Leonardo da Vinci, I don't think there was anything particularly special, even about his artwork. Like I don't find it to be compelling. You know, I look at it and I'm like, that's it. You know,
I mean, I don't really like looking at, because didn't he paint a bunch of dudes with their units out on them? And
yeah, but that was the style at the time. I mean, everybody did
not my
that.
thing. But I think he did do stuff with like measurements and stuff that was like really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, I think that as it goes, as a scientist, he was probably a genius. Like he probably was a genius. That doesn't make him a great painter. That just makes him a genius.
Yeah,
he understood flight before people recognized flight. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he was a very smart guy. Doesn't mean that he was the smartest guy back then, and doesn't mean that he was the best painter.
Speaking of flight, we are flying around the moon today. Shout out to all the engineers and teams involved with that. We had a long conversation here before you came on.
Let me tell you something. When it comes to the moon, I don't remember whether you were that the moon was faked or something like that. You were trying to convince me that the landing was faked and all that kind of shit. I think at one point,
I think the footage was fake.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I thought about this. I'm like, there's got to be like a compelling argument that just doesn't really make any sense, you know, when you break it down. And I saw one the other day where somebody was talking. It was who's the retarded black guy who super smart? Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, I love him. Why is he retarded?
Why is he not?
It's a physicist, right? He's an astrophysicist.
No, he's not a fucking physicist.
But he's an astrophysicist, right?
No, he's not. He's an entertainer. He's a smart entertainer, but he's an entertainer. Imagine this. Sometimes when I talk to people, they come back and they're like, you know what? He's actually a pretty fucking smart guy. I'm a moron, okay? But I seem smart sometimes about some things. Neil deGrasse Tyson happens to be smart about those kind of things, and he educated himself on it. So, you know, for he's smarter than me when it comes down to it. He's smarter than you. He's smarter than most, you know, he's probably smarter than most people. But he's also just an entertainer. He doesn't have a bachelor's, he doesn't have a PhD. He's not a physicist. He's not an astrophysicist. He's not Brian Greene for sure. You know what I mean? Like there's, but my point was, his argument was, he was talking about the moon landing and he was on Logan Paul. And Logan Paul was like, you believe the moon landing's real? And then he just kind of lost his mind on Logan Paul. You should go look it up. He says, he goes, let me make sure I got this right. You think that in 1969, they faked the moon landing, but we can do the math and we can know that the size is right. We can know that the fuel that they needed was correct. We know all of these things. And we were at war with, we were in the Cold War with the Russians, who were also going into space. So you're telling us that in his mind, he was like, so what you're saying is every country that hates each other was also secretly working together to confuse you, to make sure that you knew that wink, wink, we didn't really go. And then we faked it another 9 times. That's what you're going to lead with in your story about the moon landing not being real. Are you really that unserious? And I was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Think it through. Like, it would require countries that don't work with each other to keep a secret together. If I'm mad at somebody, I'm just going to reveal I'm going to reveal it, right? So why wouldn't we? Also, you can calculate it mathematically. I can't, but you can calculate it mathematically. Do we have the velocity to do it? And by the way, not only are we doing that, but the same person on the same team that does the same stupid stuff, Elon Musk, he'll tell you we went to the moon, and he's not being paid to lie to people. He's paying people to lie to you. He's one of those people.
So we are in mostly agreement that we've gone to the moon?
Well, so I'm sure we went to the moon. I'm sure we went to the moon all 9 times. I'm sure there's nothing there. Or, there, you know what? Let me hold on. There could be something there that we're not talking about. Like, maybe, just maybe we're sending up or sent up some, we could have a base on the moon for all I know. I don't think we're capable of keeping that type of secret. That's not a localized secret. Like, for example, if it's revealed 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when somebody dies, that there were 2 shooters for JFK, if that's revealed at some point, that only required 3 or 4 people. That's a secret possible to keep.
Yeah.
It's only a couple people. For the moon landing, thousands upon thousands of people are involved. That's not being kept a secret. Aliens. No fucking aliens. If there were aliens, Elon would have already made them join MAGA and wear red hats.
Oh, I want to believe in aliens.
I want there to be. I believe that there's plenty of life in the galaxy. I just don't think they give a shit about us. That to me is religious hubris and humanity saying that we're so special and we're so good and we're so awesome. Everybody must want to see us and talk to us and see what we're doing. That's stupid to me.
These we had talked about the Andromeda galaxy and how there's a crazy amount of stars in there, and most of them are probably populated by planets. I don't know how many's in the Goldilocks system, but yeah, I want to believe in aliens, even if they're not in that galaxy, which I hope they are. They're probably in other ones. I also saw Super Mario Galaxy yesterday. I got my 2 little Yoshi popcorn buckets still in their wrapper right next to Dashi. That was such a good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, we were talking about a bunch of stuff.
Here we go. What are the odds of life in the universe other than humanity based upon what we know about a habitable atmosphere? Because you got to have a habitable atmosphere, right? Give me the odds. It's got to be almost certain. It's got to be almost certain. Calculating the exact odds of extraterrestrial life, the Milky Way alone contains an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars. 20% of the stars are sun-like. In our galaxy, that leaves roughly 40 billion potential Earths. There's 40 billion potential Earths. If you expand this to 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe, the number of potentially habitable homes is roughly 10 to the 22nd power, which is 10 sextillion habitable planets. So planets with atmosphere, 80%. The right composition, 5%. Stable for billions of years is probably very low. So the statistical odds are somewhere in the universe, 100%. There's a 100% likelihood, or as close as you can get to 100% likelihood, that there is that there is life on some other planets.
Preach. So we'll get into. Oh yeah, that was like the first hour. We were talking about flat and hollow Earth and the moons and mermaids.
Gabriel, wait a minute, Gabriel. I'm not a clown. I'm not in MAGA. I don't support that.
He said you got no nipples. We covered a bunch of stuff in the first hour. We really didn't go over much crypto. Like all of the comments were just flat Earth, astronauts, people wanting me to build a rocket, all that jazz. So we haven't gone over crypto yet. I had just bought a. Do you have any of the VFriends stuff? Do you know who they are? The Gary Vaynerchuk stuff.
I know what it is, but no, I don't have any.
I had this guy named Brent on the podcast the other day. He was just came on the stream for like a little bit. It wasn't really a podcast, but we were just talking about it, and like he just sold it on me. It was just like, yeah, like they're really cool. Like he gave me, like, he just knew a lot about it, and he was just passionate about it. He's like, these are the ones that a lot of people really like, and that's really it. He didn't really mention the other ones, but I saw one. It was a little bird, said Secure Sparrow, had a little lemonade stand in the back. Like, this guy's really cute. So I spent a couple $100 on him, and worst case scenario, lose a couple $100. But I think it's cool. Want to interact with them. The other project similar to that, I would say would be VeVe. Do you have any NFTs of any project out there? Which ones do you have?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I got NFTs and shit like that for years from people. So I have a bunch of them. I never pay attention to any of them.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So VeVe has their OMI token. We'll have a special guest on the OMI Homie show in like 2 weeks for the 100th episode. They are actually up a little bit today. Like 2%, so not really noteworthy. Cable Drew saying, Devi, is that dead or not? I don't know how I see you in at least one of the Telegram chats. You might be in both. I don't check them enough to really pay attention that much, but I do see you in at least one of the Telegram chats. I assume you keep up with it a little bit because I know you had a bit. Do you still have Debbie?
Yeah. I have it. I'm still in all the chats. I'm not 100% sold on. Actually, let me. I guess the best way for me to say this is I don't know really how or what the real direction is. I think that Tom feels like he's laid it out pretty clearly, but I don't think that he has, based upon a crypto thing. Tom is a technical guy who likes to talk about, his arches and what he's doing with Fias. Fias is his baby, right? I
guess both of them are his baby, but Fias is definitely his baby. One
he created both, but somebody else has been running dev for all this time, so
not anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what he intends to do. Like I try to understand, but I don't. It seems to me that if you just kind of if we have a giant partner, and that partner who has to want to move forward on their business model, and we're not moving forward on a business model that we can see, then they're going to move to somebody else. is what I think. I mean, that's the way I would see it. I think that technologically speaking, what Tom is making is interesting and potentially fascinating. And the fact that he can do T+0 settlement, instantaneous settlements, is a breakout candidate. I mean, you know, the things that he does are unique, but I don't finding the market. His answer, by the way, for finding the market was, I think FIAS is going to run an AI marketing campaign. What the fuck? I don't even know what that means. I don't think anybody knows what that means at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he's trying to work through the process, and he's trying to do it on a shoestring budget until, you know, whatever funding comes through. So it's very difficult right now to just say, hey, you know what? Tom's got it under control. I don't know that he does.
So as far as DeVe goes, where he says not sure what to do with it, I mean, they still have all that patented technology.
Yeah.
That partner is still waiting in the wings, waiting for us to kind of finish everything up, which, yeah, took a hit with the price and took a hit with the, you know, Ray leaving and losing other staff that they could no longer afford.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they still have the dev exchange at some point. They still have that, again, all that tech. So it just seems that really the only lacking thing really was money. They still do have a bunch of devs, but they are, for the most part, working on FIAS. That's going to be the thing that drives everything to DeVe, the DevX blockchain and the dev exchange. Whether that comes in and I mean, there's some funding that's been gotten. Obviously, funding round is still open for people if they want to go in. So until that closes, I assume that they're still raising funds. But that, as of right now, has remained open. We don't know when that's going to close. I think things will get a bit more bullish when it does close, because then, oh, they raised X amount of money. Again, it's not public on when that might close or not. It is a private company, so even though Tom's decent with communication, like, we don't know exactly percentage-wise how much is being allocated towards hiring, let's say, like Austin back or other devs, how much is going towards you know, the old partner, how much is going towards the new stuff. So there are a lot of people, myself included, that have had experiences with loved ones and former lovers that have had the hallucinations with ChatGPT and other types of AI. Because Tom is incredibly smart, and a lot of the stuff that he says, you need to like read a couple times. Like, okay, at least I do. Others might not.
I'll do.
There's I think there is that chance where how much of it is like, yeah, no, this is all legit, this all makes sense, or like, even if 95% is, what if there's like even 1% where it's like a new technology or new invention, and basically him and ChatGPT or Claude just made up a word and gave it a definition and plugged it into all the equations. I don't know. I don't think we would know, because anything that's new, he would want to keep proprietary. He'd want to keep to himself, as fear of leaks or getting to any other competition. But as of right now, I think Will Stewart might be smart enough to like snuff that out, and he's not getting paid for that position. He just wanted a board seat for FIA. So I think he's smart enough to know like whether something has staying power or not. So he's kind of what I use as that measuring test. As long as he's still on board, and as long as he continues to say it's like the most fundable thing he's ever seen, and this guy's come through with the funds, I think it's all good. I haven't sold any of my DeVe. I barely have any FIA, so it wouldn't matter if I, got any. Is that kind of where you are as far as you're not buying anymore, but you haven't sold any?
Yeah, I haven't touched it. As a matter of fact, I said the other day that I was considering selling some dev to buy FIAS, but I wasn't going to go out of pocket for FIAS. I do think right now is the like anybody who buys FIAS today, probably 2x it in a week. I think that's almost an easy win because it's done it multiple times. I'm just not sure we're at the bottom yet.
Yeah.
When it went to 0.008, I said,
Yeah, that was the other day, right?
that's the buy. Yeah, that's the buy zone. But when I looked at the chart, I was like, you know what? 0.0075, 0.007 might be that spot. And then the bounce probably goes up to like 1.9 cents. So it might be an easy 3x. But I wasn't sure yet. So I just kind of held off and said, before I really pull the ripcord on this and go for it, I'm going to sit back a little bit and I'm going to watch and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I think he'll be, he was on your podcast, I think like a month ago. I think Crypto Rain has I don't know if it's a public or a private conversation. I know he's got a call with him either this week or next week. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more out of him. Tom did say he wanted to have some updates by March. I think he said it's going to be a couple weeks. There was a FIAS announcement, or it was a DEVVE and a FIAS announcement. Let me see where.
He was trying to get it out. I reposted it yesterday because
okay, so what's it?
Well, look, there's people in there, the mods, they're doing their job, but there's people in there that, like Nairobi.
I think I know.
She puts out, he's never promised anything or anything like that. I'm like, you know what? Okay. Here's the actual post that he made. You know what I mean? And like I shared it in the chat so people could see it, and I just, let's see, where was it? March 31st, the morning. Yeah, it was in the morning here. Here we go. Tom says, I think I'll be able to launch the closed beta in March. I've made some good progress on the Arch Builder, which is the long poll. I'm going to start putting out more information in general starting March as well. He said, I think I'll be able to launch the closed beta in March. So he was giving a target time. He was giving a spot where he had an idea of when it could be done. And then somebody said, people are then asking because it's March 31st. Like, where the fuck is it? And then somebody named Mark here says, Tom did not hold to a specific timeline. End of month may have been a target, but not a specific date. And then somebody else says, true, but an update on that would be in its place. If you can't reach the proximity of the date, you can inform the people up front. Then Nairobi jumps in, says there's been no confirmation it's launching today. Best to wait for Tom to confirm the timing. There was no fixed date. So what to inform about? Updates come when there's something concrete to share. And, she's doing her job, right? And then Mark says, again, it was a casual comment on when things may approximately be ready. So it's not anything owed. And then they go back and forth and they go back and forth and they go back and forth. And somebody else says, I understand it's estimated. What I say is an update up front about it would be on its place. Hi, people. I cannot reach the end of March for whatever reason. Anyways, it was my way of thinking. Anyone can think otherwise, of course. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I know exactly what the comments were. I know exactly what he said. So I went back and I don't know if I tagged it or whatever it was. So I went back to it and I said, it's right here. And then I posted it in their chat. And then Mark said, okay, then possibly we will see something today. It's still March where Tom is at. And this is Mark, by the way, who's defending everything the entire time, saying Tom never said this. Tom never said this. I gave him the post where Tom said, I think I'll be able to launch it in March. That's not a March. It's going to launch on March 31st. That's, I think I'll be able to, right? Yeah. But that he never at any point said, well, actually it's probably going to be a little bit longer than that. At no point did he say that. So we reach March 31st, and I don't think that he's thinking about that. He's not thinking in crypto terms. Like I've said since the beginning, he doesn't give a shit about crypto. He is a crypto bro, but he doesn't give a shit about crypto. He gives a shit about making his company functional and creating value for the company, and that's not through crypto. So then Nairobi then responds to me, yes, as it says, I think. And as I said, it's not a fixed date or any promise of launch. So, I mean, you can only make these kind of mistakes so many times before it just wears people down. Yeah. I mean, that's what I say. And look, I probably wouldn't say, I probably would be more, less deliberate about it if I was still partnered with them or anything like that. Like if I was still producing content or doing anything, like you said, like Austin, I don't think Austin's coming back. I don't know if he is or not, but somebody needs to run that stuff because nobody's doing anything right now. So, you know, and I reached out to Tom and we had a conversation, and the conversations went well, but it didn't result in anything. And I just can't bring myself. I'm not the type of person to just badger him. So, you know, I've done my part. I've done my share, but they're not paying me to promote them. So I'm just being as honest as I can be about my opinion. And my opinion is they're still dropping balls.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would hope that at some point they stop, but you know, it's not really a they at this point. It's just Tom. I mean, I know he has developers, but they don't talk. Will Stewart doesn't have a Telegram. So
yeah, he just posts on LinkedIn a lot.
Right. So I you know, Tom is the point of contact. He's the only point of contact, you know. It is my opinion that if, like, just say you and I were producing content, be in a better place. I'm not saying we'd be at 2 cents. I'm not saying we'd be at 20 cents, but it would be better than it is right now, because at least there would be somebody saying positive things, talking positively about the project, and crafting narratives about why you should be excited, you know, while at the same time saying, and by the way, you can go to Tom's channel right now and you can see what he's doing. You know, there are so many different little pieces that, in my opinion, could be done. And it just, right now, I don't think he has any interest in it, because he wants that money first. And then once he's got that money, we'll see whether or not, you know.
Yeah, I do see that. I also see that, like, it could be a positive for Devi if we had more people make content, or it could be a negative for the people that are making content, because it's like, hey, you guys are talking about, you know, how great this is, but the price is down. I'm never going to listen to you again, or I'm never going to. So I feel like that's also.
I take it. I take it all the time. I take it on the chin constantly, because I mean, and that's one of the things that I don't know. I don't think Tom cares. You know what I mean? About like my feelings or something like that. But you know, I've done only what I've gone with what they've posted for 2 years. And here we are, from $1.80 to 2 cents. I mean,
there's also just the overall market. Like, you see, like you mentioned stuff getting paid for, like Definity, where we both have deals with them. And I mean, I mention them every day. I talk about like they're always in the title, and you know, they've gone from 6 cents to 1 cent, and that's not because the company is not doing it well. The company is grown like 10x, and you know, over the last, you know, couple years. But it's just like the overall market. I mean, but part of it is marketing, that they just haven't really done in the way that anyone would like. But also, just altcoins are just kind of getting wrecked in general.
But it's not the altcoins getting. It's not. That's an unfair thing, because yes, the general vicinity of crypto is not lighting it up, but Ethereum's $2,100. Solana is $80 or $90 right now. Tau was 370 4 days ago.
Well, what is the starting point? Because ETH is about the same price it was in like 2021. Solana's lower.
That is correct. That is correct. But if we scale that back and we say, well, let's just do a kind of a comparison on some of these, and where are we? If you look at, say, BitTensor, BitTensor's high in the last BitTensor's all-time high is $782. That $782 was in 2024. Okay. Today, 300, what's it right now? $310. So it's cut in half. That is a big difference than going from $1.80 to 2 cents.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to recognize the differential between some of these things. Solana had a high, a previous top of $260. Then it had a previous bottom of $8. Then it ran back up to $295. Now it's sitting at $80. And you can say to yourself, well, it's only $80, but it was originally $300. Yeah, but it was also $8.
Yeah.
So it's up 10x from its bear market low. Dev, on the other hand, no. Dev is at an all-time low as of this moment. And you go down to XRP, suppressed for 5 years. Suppressed for 5 years in the 20 and 30 cent range, with a low in the bear market of 28 cents. Where is it today? $1.32. It's up 5x, 6x from where it was.
What number is what you're talking about? BitTau or BitTensor?
Yeah.
What number is that in like the overall crypto? Is it like number 300? 180?
It's not. It's BitTensor is currently the 28th overall crypto.
So you're taking the top 30 coins and comparing it to tokens that are in like the top, like Devi's in the hundreds. Devi's probably like in 1,000 now, same as Definity. But I feel like you're taking really popular coins that's always in the top 30, top 50, or 100, and you're comparing them to tokens that have never been there. I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Which would be fair enough if it weren't for the fact that at $1.80, it was actually in the hundreds of millions category.
Yes.
So
do we know where that was? Was that in the that was in the top 200?
Well, consider this. At 2 cents, that is a 90x. Okay.
Yeah.
Dev would have to do a 90x to get back to $1.80. Currently, it's at like 2.5 million market cap. 90x from that is over a $200 million market cap. So this is not a child's crypto. You know what I mean? This is a $200 million crypto sitting at 2.5 million. Yeah. That's not that's mismanagement. Okay. No matter how you look at it, that is mismanagement, because at the same time, what are we seeing right now? We're seeing all of the bigs coming into crypto. Okay. We're seeing JP Morgan. We're seeing Morgan Stanley. We're seeing BlackRock. We're seeing all these people enter the arena. And you know who they're talking about? SWI, Ondo. They're talking about, what's the other one? Canton. They're talking about all these other ones that they've made these partnerships and these deals with. But what's one crypto that's supposed to be better than every other crypto that nobody is wanting to make an announcement about partnering with? That's what people see with Dev.
Yes,
that's what people see. And that is part of that is marketing, but it's really just about nailing a business partnership and being able to announce it to people to provide value for the people who are investors. And to be fair, a lot of investors, Tom said something that one day I was really annoyed by the fact that he said it. He said, you had plenty of chances to take profit when it was sitting at $1.80. If you didn't, and you were irresponsible with your bag, that's on you. And I understand what he was saying because he's a pragmatic guy. He says things, you know, he punches he'll punch you right in the face. You know what I mean? He doesn't waffle around and shadow box you. Like, he punches you right in the face. He says that, you know, but guess what? A lot of people think that what they're doing is they're holding on and they're providing funding for a business so that the business can continue to operate. That's the understanding that a lot of people have about buying a crypto and holding it long term. They're providing the funding and the liquidity for this company to find its path and create that value. And they felt like that value had been created, and it had been created by all of the money that they had thrown at it over all of this time. And then we get to the spot where they're like, you know what? Our deadline's coming in a couple months. It's going to happen. And then when we get to that deadline, it's not going to happen. And then not only that, we're also firing the guy that was in charge, and we fired everybody, and he fired everybody else along with it. That's a disaster. And it is now April 1st. The people that and that's who he was talking to. And in my mind, that was a level of disrespect to those investors. He doesn't really have a choice, you know what I mean? Because he's being honest about it. He doesn't really have a choice, but what he's saying is basically, too bad, so sad. You had a chance to cash out and make a bunch of money or take a bunch of money somewhere up there at the top from whatever it was that, from wherever the bag was at that time. It's your responsibility if you didn't. If you didn't pull the liquidity and somebody else did, that's your fault. That's not my fault or anything like that. No, it's not. And he's right. But his fault lies in, where's partner? Where's the city states? Where's the island nation, or all those different things that we've been talking about forever? Where's any of that? See what I'm saying? Like, we've gone from a startup that looked like it had this enormous runway, years, by the way, years. And here we are at 2.2 million market cap.
I think there's also one thing that has been left out, which it could be seen as a negative on Tom because he didn't see it, but the former CEO, Ray, who seemed to have minted 30 million tokens right before he left, 25 of which is granted in the Forever Association that I don't think can be touched, but 5 million of which has just been sold by him. And I don't know if there's any court cases going on. I know that there's there's some stuff that Tom can't say, probably because of legal reasons. But I feel like had this not happened, we would not be in this position that we're in now, because 5 million tokens, essentially draining that liquidity is a big reason we're down here. And I'm not going to absolve Tom of any guilt, because okay, you helped hire him, you helped pave the way for this to happen, but also I don't think I would have expected that either. I'm not saying that I had ever held Ray in the top echelon of people that I would trust with my life, because I wouldn't, but I didn't think that he would have done this. So I think that's just another important piece to throw out there as well of info.
And I think that's a fair assessment, but at the same time, again, he trusted him enough that here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, what changed about Ray? Well, what changed about Ray is the company that I don't know how they were involved with DevStream, but it's the same goddamn name.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Ray going to do? What's the responsible? I know that I think at least that, the problem was that Ray and Tom didn't talk, and Ray just started making executive decisions without discussing it with Tom. Right. But he's the goddamn CEO. Why wouldn't he make decisions? So, there's some friction there that it'll probably take some time before we ever understand what the real friction is. Yeah. And then once we do, if you and I ever know, we probably can't share it with anybody. You know what I mean? So, knowing doesn't really, I don't care at this point. What I care about at this point is how do we move forward? What I need is, what are we at? 2 cents. What I need is 20 cents. You know what I mean? Show me something that inspires confidence. 2.2 cents. Inspire me with confidence. It wasn't that long ago I was talking about, what, we could have a significant rally. It was at the beginning of the year where, 34 cents, and I'm 34 cents, 17x from where we are. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you just took this year, it's been an absolute and utter disaster. And by the way, the reason, again, to bring it full circle for me, it's actually kind of simple. Okay. I had a partnership with them. It lasted for about a year. Then one day they just didn't pay me, and they didn't even tell me Hey, great job. We don't want to use you anymore. Hey, you suck. We don't want to use you anymore. Or we don't want to use you anymore. They just ghosted me and never said a word. And it took probably 5 or 6 months before anybody came to me. And it was because I was arguing with somebody because I was pointing out something about the situation. So then I got right with Phil. Then I got right with Tom and all that kind of stuff. And they both apologized. They were like, this is, this is one of those things where we probably should have done a better job. You're right. We absolutely should have. So, the fact that they admitted it after the fact, I believed that they would. And I believe that somebody like Tom would. And by the way, I never chased Tom down to, for anything. So I never really had that moment. So when I actually got that time and I got into his face, I told him everything that I thought. And, we cleared the air. It wasn't really dirty air, though, to be fair. Like, it really wasn't dirty air. You know what everything that's happened. So it really wasn't dirty air. It was just, effectively communicate. And that to me was an example of there is a problem there. I just don't know what the problem is. Ray, for Ray's internal stuff, because I asked Phil, I said, Phil, matter of fact, they were so on edge at one point, and Phil has been friendly with me, and I'm going to spill the tea on Phil, which spill on Phil. I told Phil, I said, people invested because of me. Not everybody, but people invested because of me. And this makes me look very bad because I have had your back in a public space all this time. You guys don't have my back. So then when we get to like right now, what frustrates me is my credibility matters. What I talk about matters. And they didn't add value to that. They just kind of, oh, well, and I didn't like that. So again, I think we're beyond that, but the fact that we're not partnered up right now, the fact that we're not, like finding a way forward, that they're not using me still kind of annoys me and rubs me the wrong way.
Can I ask a very difficult question? You
Sure.
could tell me not. Okay. I see some of your stuff on X. So you were hacked also
Yeah.
for like an afternoon, and you can go into that a little bit if you want. But because I went to send you the link before and I couldn't to your X. It says I still couldn't send messages. So I texted you.
I cut everything off.
Okay.
What I did with X was my X got hacked like 3 months ago, and it was a company. It was buffer.com. I set up an account with buffer.com. And what they are is they're like one of those places where you go and you can just like create a bunch of different posts and stuff, and it'll post it for you over time. Yeah. So just an easy one-stop shop, and it can do Instagram, it can do, and I've got, I've got videos with like, 500,000 views on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. Because I've been blowing those up for, a little while, and it's been Chicago Bears. It's not crypto, but my, point remains, like, I just wanted some kind of thing. Well, they hacked my Buffer account, and then that's where they were sending the messages from. I disconnected the Buffer account, but they had created a pass key. So they had downloaded a pass key onto their computer so that every time I logged them out, they were able to log back in. And it took me a while to figure that out because for a month they didn't touch the account. And I thought, okay, I fixed it. I deleted it. I got out. We're done. Then they logged back in. They started doing it all over again. And then I had to figure out, like, how the fuck do I fix this? So then I went to AI, and then I went to X, and I went to everybody. How do I fix this? This is what's going on. They hacked this third party, but now they have the pass key. How do I get the pass key? So they told me I have to deactivate my account for 24 hours. Actually, they said it's like 3 hours or 4 hours that will clear all pass keys. And then you'll have to create a new pass key on your computer. So that's what I did. I logged out overnight. I logged back in the next morning, which was Thursday morning last week. When I logged in, I was back to normal, and I started watching the chat to make sure. And the other thing I did was I disabled messaging. So I can't chat. I don't have anything in there right now. I disabled everything because that was another thing. Disable that, and all, because then you can't send messages or receive messages. So, and I was good for, So I set all that up. I deactivated the account. Then I activated it again the next morning and I logged in. Everything was fine. I went to the gym. While I'm in the gym, I get into the hot tub and I'm like, well, I'm in the hot tub. It's time for me to look at Twitter. I go to look at Twitter and I can't log into Twitter. And I'm like, something's wrong, but I'll figure it out when I get back to my computer where the pass key is. I'll just deal with it. It's not that big a deal. I went to my Chicago Bears cast account and just started, reading tweets and stuff, news from there. And then when I got home, I tried to log in. My account doesn't exist. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? So then I log in using my login. And it's instead of Believes Crypto, it's at Believes 84705. And then I'm like, what the fuck? So then I went back to Grok and I told Grok exactly what was going on. I've been using Grok to figure it out all that time. And Grok said, well, there's server issues with X and they must have deleted it when you deactivated your account. You sent a message. They had they were having login server issues on the 26th and 27th, and they must have deleted your login somehow. You're going to have to go to them to get it back. So then I did that, and they responded to me, which is if I'd have strangled the motherfucker if they weren't standing in front of me. And I know, and it's not because they said anything bad or anything like that, but it was because I sent them the message, and they said, thanks for reaching out. Your email address is currently associated with a different account. I'm like, you fucking asshole. Like, yeah, but I didn't do that. When I tried to log in, you created a new account for me. Because there was something wrong, and there was something wrong with their login server is what happened. So anybody who deactivated their account in that 24-hour period, same thing.
Oh God, that's annoying.
Yep. So, and I don't have that back yet. So
it's very frustrating.
Now I've deactivated that account and I'm waiting for them to reply, but it took them, 2 or 3 days to reply. So I assume that any moment now they'll send me an email and I'll have my account back. But, for right now, twiddling my thumbs. So what's the question?
So talking about getting a partnership with Dev or Tom or in some aspect, whether it's Fias, Dev, the token, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I know you had to deal with the hack. You also had to deal with the bit of a family emergency recently. So obviously there's some tragedies preventing you from doing stuff. But you'd been partnered with Dfinity for X amount of time, at least a month or two, if not more. And I hadn't seen any posts about them recently. And if I was Tom, I was like, okay, well, why would I go in and have, pay to do videos and pay to do stuff when you apparently had this deal with this other company and there's just not much content out of that? Like, can I justify doing a deal with you if there's not going to be a ton of content? Like, how can I know that it'll be worth it?
That's a fair question. But every day when I, not just here, but every single day, Dfinity's right there in the frame. Dfinity is talked about every single day on my live streams.
Oh, you have it in the
yeah.
Oh, okay. It's blocked by your name. I'm an idiot. I see the okay. Copy.
I've absolutely talked about them every single day because
disregard my ignorant posts because again, I just see like some of the posts. I don't see the videos in which you've done.
I mean, I suppose the problem with everything is that crypto is just, like you said, it is in a bad state right now.
Yeah, in general.
Because my Bears content exploding. I'm monetized on Instagram now. I'm monetized on TikTok now. I'm monetized on Facebook now. Like I'm monetized all over the place, except where crypto is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that in the collectibles market is just skyrocketing. Like you have Pokemon cards, magazines, drawings, books. It's going crazy. Like if you live in that collectibles world, they're like, bro, economy's booming, everyone's spending, and they are in that world. But then you get into crypto and people saying like, hey, I hope I'm wrong, but Debbie's looking like Bump 2.0 because Bump they had X amount, they had a great idea. They had a decent amount of runway, and then they were expecting the bull market to kind of take care of stuff, and the bull market just hasn't hit yet. And them and 11 million other tokens died last year. So you have crypto just redheaded stepchild over there.
Well, I mean, I guess the biggest issue, in so much as there's like a real issue, is Donald Trump is a liar. That's the hard part.
What does that have to do with crypto? Not disagreeing.
It doesn't matter what he does. It matters that he keeps lying about everything in order to manipulate markets. And now nobody trusts him when he says stuff. Now, obviously, if you're that ultimate Donald Trump, everything he does is right, then you're not going to agree with me on that. But if you go back and you look at this entire Iranian war, every few days, he lies to you about something when the markets are dipping in order to try to keep the market pumping a little bit or to bring back some of that capital back into the market. Matter of fact, a couple of hours ago, we had a good day going. A couple of hours ago, what does he do? He comes out and he says, the Iranians are begging me to end this conflict. The Iranians immediately reply, this guy's out of his mind. We aren't reaching out to him at all. Pakistan has reached out to us for Donald Trump, but we told them we're not interested.
So at what time was that? Because I have a post from 9/25 where Trump says they will hit Iran extremely strong in the next 2 to 3 weeks and will put them back in the Stone Age. And the market acted appropriately. The oil jumped 6% 30 minutes after that, to $103 per barrel after Trump threatened to hit them. So and again, that's cherry picking one example. I've definitely seen where he'll say like the economy is the best that it's ever been, and clearly that's a lie. I think we're at like an 8-month low for the Dow or the Nasdaq. So like I think a lot of times he does say things and the market reacts, I think, appropriately.
Right. Here's 2 p.m. Exactly 2 p.m. today.
Okay.
This is the president of Iran. To the people of the United States of America and to all those who, amid a flood of distortion and manufactured narratives, continue to seek the truth and aspire to a better life. Iran is one of the oldest continuous civilizations in human history. It's just going around. Despite its historical and geographical advantages, Iran has never in its modern history chosen a path of aggression, expansion, colonialism, or domination. Okay? All of the things that Donald Trump said that we went in there for. Right? There is a fatwa from the Shiites against nuclear weapons. Iran has no nuclear weapons. Okay? For this reason, portraying Iran as a threat is neither consistent with historical reality nor present-day observable facts, such as perception is the product of political and economic whims of the powerful, the need to manufacture an enemy in order to justify pressure, maintain military dominance, and sustain the arms industry. This is a 4-page document that he put out to the American people about what's going on. And then when you go look at the markets, what time was it at 9:52 a.m.? that Trump said whatever he said?
Today, that was 9:25 p.m.
All right. So 9:25 p.m. was right here. We got a nice big green candle for a few hours. We got these green candles. And then what happens at around 2 o'clock, we get this note that says,
well, no, this is at 9:25 p.m. Trump said that he was going to hit Iran so hard to put them back in the Stone Age.
So he just did that a few minutes ago?
It was about 50 minutes ago. Yeah. 45 minutes ago. Yeah. So yeah, is that the big red candle?
And that's the big red candle. And what's he going to do tomorrow? Iran is begging me to not do this.
Yeah. So whenever I do see those markets react to Trump, where he says something and then it goes up, you would think that, and again, I could definitely be wrong here, but you'd think that a lot of people, if they were, now you could be really good at making money and be really dumb in like every other way. I went over that before when we were talking about like flat Earth scientist stuff and VCs, but you would think that the people, because again, we're in agreement, and I think a lot of what Trump has done in the future can be very good for the U.S. Obviously, short term, it's disastrous.
Yes.
But you think that the people that have these hundreds of billions or trillions in assets under management would be like, yeah, we're going to end this, April 9th. I think that's what he said like last week as like a date, a tentative date. You would think that the people that have generals in their pocket that have all these stocks and ownership in Lockheed Martin and Corvallis and DynCorp and Blackwater Federal contracts that say like, okay, yeah, they're getting orders to go or not. Like, you would believe that he does have an off-ramp option to get this over with in a couple of weeks. If there wasn't, all of these insanely rich people that stand to gain or lose a lot of money would not believe him and be like, it doesn't matter what Trump would say, just tank the market in general because he knows that it's going to be here for like 6 months or 9 months or whatever. But I think that regardless of what Trump says, that there is probably some truth in what he's saying, that there is a big possibility for an off-ramp to this war.
Yes.
In the next month or so.
Well, so
I'm hoping.
What he's doing right now is, in my opinion, he is trying to find his way out of it because he understands that he's messed up.
Yeah.
He's pulled an ice in Minnesota on Iran.
Yeah.
That's basically what's happening. Okay.
Agreed.
He's screwed up again. He knows he screwed up again. And now he's trying to do the Donald Trump thing, which is the Roy Cohn thing, which is to lie about everything and pretend it's not what it is in order to get the preferred outcome. And hopefully along the way, something will just fall out of the tree and make him look good. And to be fair, he's one of the luckiest shysters in history. Okay. He is one of the more fortunate people because he's a celebrity, because he's celebrated for the way he communicates, because he's a celebrity. He's used to acting. He's been acting his entire life. So he knows how to put it on. And that's what he's doing. He's putting on, like, for example, there's countless different things on here. As a matter of fact, it's not that hard. All you have to do is type it into Twitter, and I won't play it for the sound, so I don't want you to get demonetized or anything like that. But Trump says, I'd have no problem releasing the video of the second Venezuela boat strike when that boat was disabled, and then they threw more missiles despite the Geneva Convention saying you can't do that. Then Trump says 5 days later, right here, I never said that. That's fake news. Here he is saying it. Here he is denying he's saying it and saying that ABC is fake news because he never said it. And by the way, there are countless ones of these, of where he says stuff and it comes back that he just changes his mind, and it's over and over and over. And by the way, this is not a great illustration because I just kind of put up Trump lies, and that's going to be something, or Trump lying or something like that. But you can see these over and over and over again where he says something and then later on he changes his mind about it, and then he pretends like he never said it. And that's what they call the Roy Cohn method. And that is he just pretends. And then eventually something will shake loose. Something will happen where, and by the way, his little tight-knit group of people, they will say that he never said it all. They will pretend like they never heard it. They will do whatever he wants. He's got a good cult-like following that will, repeat and say whatever. And they'll say Trump was right. If you say the sky is blue, and you say the sky is purple, and you say the sky is green, and then a couple days later the sky turns purple, they will ignore the time he said it was green. They will ignore the time he said it was blue. And they will say, see, he's right. The sky is purple. Trump is always right. They will ignore everything. So all he has to do is cast a wide net, and his little group here will just ape whatever it is that he says.
That's fair.
That's
I
following.
I see Telegram chats like that also, where they somebody says something, it's like, okay, let's blast it out on Twitter. Let's all reshare it. Let's all do that. So
yeah.
And he obviously doesn't need to pay for, like, he'll have his fanboys do that for free just because they love him. So that's fair. Okay, so we did the crypto, we did the stuff. I know you've only been in here an hour. I've been at 2:15, and I'm gonna have to pee soon. Is there anything you want to go over before we? Because I, like a normal person, pee. Well, I probably pee more than the normal person, but I pee when I drink. Anything did you want to go over before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're good for right now. I have an idea for a show though.
Okay.
If you're interested in a show, we'll talk about it off camera. Because I think it's a hilarious idea.
Okay. I like interesting ideas. That's always fun. This would be good. Everyone, thank you for joining. Say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. And the Yoshi boys down there. Meow, meow, meow. We'll catch you all later. Thank you for coming.